Hi, welcome. Today, I'll be giving you 7 different hacks to improve your designs immediately. Let's go to Photoshop. I'm in Photoshop now, and I'll be making use of this flyer. My first point, which is hierarchy in designs. For me, it's really important for you to make use of hierarchy in your design because that's the only way you can direct your audience eyes and make them see the most important thing on the design first. If you don't make use of hierarchy, you might end up having a design that is all over the place and doesn't really control or direct your audience eyes to what things are important on your flyer. So looking at this flyer now, I made good use of hierarchy, and if you look at this, I have the car as the first thing you definitely see on the design, because at the end of the day, this is a car rental service flyer, and the first thing they want to see is the kind of proposed car they might be getting from this brand. So we make use of a car that is readily available with the brand. So I have the car really big on the design. So the first thing the audience will definitely see on this design will be the car. So the next thing I made sure is big will be the brand name, because at the end of the day they want to know who the brand is, and I have the brand name written up there, being the second thing that is important on this design. I have Embassy Luxury Octo Service. Even in the brand name as well, I was still using the principle of hierarchy. The brand name itself is bigger, then I use a more tiny font. Then I went to the luxury auto service, which is still the next big thing on the design. So I make good use of hierarchy. If you look at the other part of the design as well, I have car rental service available, daily, weekly, monthly. Those are still important. Then I went ahead to indicate the prices of those uh, services that they render. So you can see I made very good use of hierarchy. So it's important. It helps you to direct your audience eyes to where you want them, what and the things that are important on the design. So they follow that pattern from the biggest to the next big to the smallest, and so on and so forth. So it's important for you to direct their eyes so they don't feel out of place. And even when they're looking at the design from afar, they can see the first thing the design is all about from the very big thing on the flyer. So the next thing I'll be talking about will be contracts on your design. It's important. And I'll go back to the same design again to illustrate what I mean by using contrast in design. And contrast is not only about colors alone. Sometimes it might be the kind of thickness in your font or font color, font sizes as well. So make use of contrast. So looking at this design again now, if you see the predominant color or the in the background here is black, and that's a highly contrasting color. So now I make sure whatever text I'm writing on it is more of on the lighter side of things, so design can be visible. When you make use of contrast in your design becomes more visible to pass your information, more legible. The information becomes more visible to read, and then people tend to understand the information you're trying to pass very well. If you, for instance, now if I should decide to use a darker shade of color to write the brand name now, imagine this is gray on black. You can see it's not that visible. So I will say make use of contrast, and doesn't have to be on dark background alone. So look at this, the down part of the design. I have a lighter background in form of lemon yellowish kind of color. So when I'm now writing the font, the information, I make sure I have them in black or maybe on this color as well, and it's on the deeper side of things, so the information becomes readable. So use contrast, be it in color, be it in font choice, be it in font sizes as well. So make use of contrast very well. So the next thing I'll be talking about will be make sure you're using limited colors in your designs. So I know it's tempted, sometimes you're tempted to bring in different colors and show your skills, show your understanding in colors, but then sometimes you just make your design look out of place. So I'll say stick to limited use of color. And going back to this design again, if you see, I have a black background, then I have a shade of yellow and lemon and green as well. So, and if you see, there are more of the same monochrome of colors when it comes to the bright color that I use in this design. So you see, it's not like, for instance, initially this car color is in purple, and I decided to make sure I bring it down to a color that work well with the brand. Because at the end of the day, the brand doesn't have purple in their design, so I don't want to be the guy that introduce a different color into their design. So I would say, like I said, make use limited use of color. Don't bring in color that are not necessary in the design. Because even for me, I always tell people, do not bring things that are not important in your design. There is no point for you to, if you cannot defend it, do not bring it there. So the next thing I'll be talking about will be the use of very limited fonts. For me personally, I even advise people to try as much as possible to limit the amount of font they're using. Sometimes I I have a standing rule of saying stick to at most two fonts, and if there is no reason for you to go ahead and add the third font, do not add it for adding sake. So going back to that design as well, this is like a perfect illustration of using limited font. For a fact, I use only one font family in this design. I just made use of different font choices, font sizes, font thickness. If you look at this one, I have a tiny version of the font here, then I have a thicker version of the font here as well. Going down as well, a tiny version, thicker version. So even with one font, I'm able to pass my information across. Assuming I don't want to use this font as well, or for the lighter, I can use something different as well. So for me, it's important for you not to bring fonts that are not important. If you don't need them, don't bring them. There's no point. So it makes your design looks really clean. It makes people understand your information very well. So I would say reduce the number of fonts. Stick to 2 fonts at most. If there is a huge reason, that's why you start bringing in the third font. So reduce your number of fonts. So for my next 3 points now, I believe I've given 4 now. So for my next 3 points, I'll use a different design to bring those points to life. And if you're still watching this video up to now, please like and subscribe to my YouTube page. I've been dropping those videos, and I'll keep dropping them. So going back to Photoshop, in this design, I'll be illustrating the use of negative space. If you look at this design, I use spaces a lot. So this space, there is space here, there is. So for me, if you use your space in design well, you don't have to fill up every space in design. If you use them very well, it makes your design looks really, really clean, and people are glued to it. They see it first, and those spaces really work. You can see I have space here, I have space here, I have space here. So I just make sure I balanced where all these details are in the design, so they don't look out of space. I could have moved this model here, and all this space will be blank, which I don't think is a better use of space. So ensure you make use of your negative space very well. You don't have to add anything in your design if it's not necessary, like I've been saying. So make use of those negative space very well. Yeah. So the next thing I'll be talking about will be the use of high quality image. There are a lot of stock website that you can download those pictures for, and whenever you're downloading them, ensure they are of high quality. It doesn't have to be the resolution alone. High quality could be what the emotion, the kind of expression you're trying to go for with the picture. Do not start to use a picture of someone fighting for an hospital's flyer, or it doesn't really work. So high quality, high resolution, the right emotion, the right expression. So make use of high quality image in your design. So looking at this design again, you can see this flyer is this lady. She's sitting down and she's in a relaxed mode and waiting for us to fix our brand. So it's important for you to use image that portray the right expression you're trying to give in your design. So the next thing I'll be talking about is simplicity. You see, this is king. sometimes people feel like they need to, go all the way in their design. Sometimes if it's needed, if it's what the brand needs, you go for it. But then still find a way to incorporate simplicity, make the design really simple. Like, make sure you don't bring what's not really necessary in the design. Because sometimes if you have too much into your design, they just feel out of place. And so I always encourage simplicity because it's the big king in designing. So quick recap on the things I've mentioned. I think I've mentioned hierarchy. I've talked about the contracts. I've talked about using limited use of color, using limited use of font, using your spaces right, and making sure your design is very simple, using high quality pictures in your design. So if you follow those rules, follow those acts, I can assure you your design will become better almost immediately. And thank you for watching this video up to this point. And don't forget to like, subscribe. I'll be dropping more video. And thank you so much. I still remain Smith. Peace.